So we're standing here in a second year certified organic field. Last year, when it had its first organic crop, it was popcorn. When that organic popcorn was harvested, we almost immediately followed the combine with an air boom seeder where we blew on cereal rye cover crop, and then followed that with a pass with a limpkin speed disc. So we were just knocking down the ridges from cultivating the popcorn crop and incorporating the cereal rye cover crop seed. So we ended up with a good stand of cereal rye, and that set us up with the opportunity for a no-till organic soybean crop. So that's what I'm standing in here. It is mid to late August. This was planted late, so this is one of the last fields that we planted this year. We planted into the standing cereal rye, which was anywhere from, kind of 5.5 feet to 7 feet tall. So it was a big, thick stand of rye. Planted right into that standing rye, and then after the beans had come up, we then came through with a roller crimper, rolled that rye down, try to get it terminated. May have been a little bit on the late side, so wouldn't be surprised if we end up with some volunteer rye that comes through in this field. So that's one thing to keep in mind when we look at the organic no-till system with rye, is that timing of terminating that rye needs to be really good if you care about then subsequently having volunteer rye coming up. So a little more history on this. So planted it, roller crimped it, but one thing that we did not anticipate, and we had to sort of improvise to figure out how to manage it, is that last year's organic popcorn crop went into or followed 2 years of alfalfa. We did do full width tillage on that alfalfa, but it was shallow. It was with a Limpkin Reuben and Limpkin Heliodor, and ended up with quite a bit of that alfalfa surviving in that popcorn crop, but we managed it well, we cultivated it out, but did not anticipate that a lot of that alfalfa then was going to come through the next year with this rye. So we didn't really see it in the rye, but after the beans were planted, the rye was rolled down, we then started seeing the alfalfa coming on. And it got to the point where that alfalfa was stronger looking than the soybeans. So we were really concerned. We thought, oh man, we've got a problem here on our hands. But we were able to come through with a high residue cultivator, a single sweep high residue cultivator, a Henniker, that has a leading coulter slice through that rye residue that we had laid down, get that single sweep cultivator to undercut the alfalfa between the rows of soybeans. And we took care of most of that alfalfa that was in this field. We can still see some that's in here, but as you can tell, these soybeans have been developing nicely. Look down here and we can see this rye residue, and you can see where that leading coulter came through to allow that single sweep cultivator to come through and cut weeds and alfalfa. So other than that single pass with the cultivator, we've made one pass with the weed zapper, so running the weed zapper bar right over the top of the soybeans to zap any weeds that were up over the canopy. That was a couple of weeks ago now. It's possible, depending on how this field continues to develop, that we may make one more pass with the zapper. We'll see how that goes, but we can actually see here one of the weeds. This looks like a giant ragweed that was taken out with that zapper. I guess one of the things that we're trying to achieve in this, it's allowing us to limit tillage passes, right? So we had this rye cover crop, didn't have to do any tillage, able to come in here, plant our soybeans, so it's reducing tillage on this field, but also from an operational standpoint, that's less passes that we have to deal with in the spring when we'd rather be focused on cultivating our corn, popcorn, sunflowers. So by having these soybeans in a no-till scenario, reducing tillage passes, eliminating tillage passes in the spring, and also any blind cultivation and early row cultivation, we can dedicate that time to other crops that need it. Yeah, something that we notice as we walk into this field is just there's kind of a spongy feel to it. I think it's a combination of things. One, we've limited tillage on this field since last October, which was just one single shallow pass to knock ridges and incorporate the rye seed. Got that nice rye cover crop with good root structure, nice fibrous roots. And then we've got this mat of rye, which has some sponge to it. But then we also have this beautiful, beautiful soil. We did get some rain here recently, so it's a little bit wet. But this soil just has really nice structure, crumbles right apart. So as we walk through here, just have this nice spongy feel, which is, it's nice to experience that.